What is going on, my friends, and welcome back to another video here on the channel. Well, it has been quite an eventful week, and of course, I'm sure many of you saw happen with former President Trump, and of course, all that craziness. We're not going to get too deep into it because I'm sure you're tired of hearing about it at this point, but things have been absolutely nuts. We've seen the market absolutely take off, and we actually did get some information this morning about what the whales, aka the lizard people, are doing, what they're investing into, and how they spent their money last week. And so with that said, let's take a look at exactly what's going on with the lizard people and get a feel for their moves. Now, we saw an absolutely beautiful week of inflows last week. Of course, many of you do know that Germany ran out of Bitcoin, so that did start to limit some of the outflows in which we were seeing in the market, which did somewhat seemingly open up the door for this market to catch some momentum and find a floor from that fall that it was seeing, especially last week. What we can see here is that we saw about $1.3 to $1.4 billion worth of inflows, actually $1.44 billion worth of inflows. Absolutely insane. I mean, that was a beautiful week. Not our best week, but definitely in that like top 6, top 7 range, especially for this year, which is absolutely phenomenal. Now, the way in which this was broken down was majoritively from iShares. So we saw iShares step back in the mix. And I told you guys this. You remember that time where we saw iShares? It was like 2 or 3 weeks ago, maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago. I don't remember. But we saw iShares go like negative, I think. And people were starting to get worried, like, oh no, iShares is selling all their thing. I'm like, listen, they're just making the moves necessary for their clients. Like, they're not going to just start selling all of their crypto, and they're not going to just reverse all the things they've been doing. When the market sentiment is back, and when they think that there is a lot more opportunity to the upside, they're going to recommend to their clients that it's time to start buying. They're going to start to pick up some more up. You just have to relax and just wait. And what we can see here is, again, yeah, iShares now sitting at 523 million, $500 million worth of inflows just last week alone. Now, Fidelity ain't no bitch. Fidelity was right behind that thing saying, look, I'm at 358 million. So Fidelity stepping behind this thing, carrying a lot of weight also. Those two combined putting in around, looking like $900 million worth of inflows from just those two. Now, we really didn't have much fighting it, right? We saw Grayscale stepping in with $34 million worth of outflows. That was covered by 21 shares. So realistically, Grayscale's impact is honestly lowered as a ton as well. I remember weeks where they were selling $400 million worth of crypto, especially Bitcoin. And so because of that having such a little impact on the sell pressure, knowing that Germany ran out, the Mt. Gox thing turned out to be a big ass nothing burger, as it always is. Yeah, we saw a pretty damn good week last week. Now, the way this was actually broken up was majoritively Bitcoin, of course. $1.34 billion flowing into Bitcoin, allowing that floor to stabilize, allowing this thing to start to catch some momentum. I mean, guys, we're seeing people can say, well, not much has happened, but 53 to 62K is a 16% increase on a multi-$100 million asset or billion-dollar asset. That is insane. That is a lot. Like, that's a lot of inflow. That's a lot of liquidity needed to move this thing hundreds of billions of dollars. And so because of that, that's absolutely beautiful. Again, $1.3 billion worth of inflows for Bitcoin last week. Now, that was followed up by a bounce back for Ethereum, which we do like to see, the king of the alts. $72 million worth of inflows there. 17.2 million for multi-asset. So it does go to show that the whales are actually diversifying a little bit here. We usually see multi-asset not performing that well at all. Even some weeks usually below Solana. Solana had a bit of a slow week at 4.4 million. And so multi-asset putting in that 17.2 just goes to show that maybe the lizard people are starting to take notice of other alts. Maybe they're paying attention to other assets, not so much Solana. And that could be an interesting thing to pay attention to, right? Just to keep in mind that maybe we're seeing attention shift to other opportunities, and maybe we need to take a similar approach. Maybe we need to kind of rest on Solana a little bit, let those bags run, and pay attention to some of these different assets. That could be an interesting approach. We'll, of course, just keep a notice on that. I'm not going to make a decision like that off of one report from 1 week. Now, the only negative thing that we saw in terms of outflows was short Bitcoin. So the people who, of course, were shorting Bitcoin got smoked on, which is good for them. Just joking, I don't care. But they saw about negative $8.6 million of outflow. So, of course, they were ready to get up out of that thing. They saw the direction and trajectory that Bitcoin is going on. They got up out of there. Good for them. Litecoin, 1.2 million. BNB, bleh. XRP, bleh. Cardano, blah. Polkadot, blah. None of these really doing super well. Not a ton of inflows. Not getting a lot of attention from the whales at this given point. So the majority of their attention focused on Bitcoin, with a little bit shifting back towards Ethereum, especially knowing that ETH was negative 2 weeks ago, I think, like maybe $40 or $50 million negative. So seeing that they're funneling back into Ethereum, I definitely think that it could mean that it's a decent time to start paying attention back to the king of alts again. And maybe that thing is going to start to lead us back towards a bull market or some type of altcoin rally. And so overall, very bullish. We love to see it. We love to see the lizard people back in this thing. Hate them or love them, but the liquidity they bring is absolutely phenomenal. It's the liquidity that pumps our alts. It's the liquidity that pumps our meme coins, our pre-sales, because it trickles from the top and goes down to the bottom. And we're a bunch of bottom feeders compared to these freaking lizard people, but I'll take what I can get. I don't care. And so because of that, I love to update you exactly what is happening with the whales on a weekly basis, because what they're investing into is important, and it's been showingly improvingly important over the years. And so of course, I hope you guys do enjoy starting your week off with these whale updates. Let me know always simply by smashing that like button if you do. And I can't wait to see you all in a little while with another video here on the channel. Peace out, everybody.